Hello. That little weird thing where it's like, this meeting is being recorded. Hi, my name is Cara Hagan. I'm really excited to join you tonight. I'm joining you from the land of the Eastern Band of the Cherokee in the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina. It's a beautiful place to be. And like Emma said, my practice exists at the intersections of movement, digital space, words, contemplative practice, and community. And so I'm grateful to live a full life where I get to employ all of these pieces and parts of myself in equal measure, and enjoy working with young folks through working as a professor, but also working out in communities with folks like you all. So again, I'm grateful to be here tonight, and I thought it would be kind of a cool thing to start with reading a little bit of a new project that I'm working on, which is writing about the intersections of ritual and resistance, or ritual and justice, and just as a way to open the space. Now, I will say it's a draft, but I think I'm onto something at this moment, so I feel okay to share it right now. And then after that, we'll do a little bit of preparation for the ritual, and then we'll hop into it. So I begin the writing of this book while in the midst of a 40-day ritual. The premise of this ritual is simple: touch the ground. Each day I lay my hands on the ground in honor of the earth, my body, and our kinship, as a manifestation of my desire to be better connected with the natural world and its spaciousness in this time of digital overload, and as a reminder to trust in the materiality of the soil, sedimentary rock, roots, fungus, plants, and organisms when the dizziness of human turmoil throws me off balance, which is often. In committing to this ritual and its invitation to slow down, to notice, and to connect, I'm prioritizing and facilitating the healing of my body and mind, which is an ongoing process. I'm tending to my own liberation and to the liberation of us all. As any action in collaboration with the earth is a challenge to human-human and human-non-human disconnection, an affront to capitalist culture, and an affirmation of all the earth provides materially, emotionally, and spiritually, this ritual is part and parcel of an interspecies, intercelestial project in pursuit of harmony. As any ritual practice and recognition of the inherent blurriness of our existence and the interconnection of all things on the planet, in the universe, and beyond our scope of comprehension is anathema to oppressive systems, ritual is as much healing and generative as it is a form of resistance. This is the magic of ritual practice, where we call on our ancestors, employ the wisdom of our intuition and the natural world, align ourselves with the energies and vibrations of the more than human world, and exercise our creative faculties. We disrupt the forces that would have us live unaware, with unceasing busyness and a commitment, often unconsciously, to violence. Ritual is old, maybe older than human beings. History shows us that culture across the globe is fostered in part by the presence and practice of ritual. Religion is the most recognized seat of ritual on the planet. Societally organized religion often acts as a container where an accepted set of ritual practices are performed and passed down through generations. These customs are positive forces in the lives of many people and can play a significant role in one's lived experience. Some religions are more recognized than others and occupy a privileged sphere around which societies build their worldviews and calendars exclusive of the worldviews and calendars of other religions. Less recognized are those rituals originating from marginalized communities and cultures, those that have been called terms meant in a derogatory manner, like witches, powerful women, witch doctors, Black, brown, tribal healers, heretics, those whose practice lies outside of the scope of accepted religious practice, tree huggers, environmentalists, and rabble rousers, activists, have and continue to employ a diversity of rituals that challenge the sensibilities of dominant culture. Even less recognized are those rituals developed inside of a family unit or nuclear community, folk rituals particular to a geographical location, and rituals born of the interests and needs of individuals. Daily morning walks, for example, keeping journals and scrapbooks, celebrating anniversaries and significant life events, meditation, cooking, altar building, and protesting, all of these practices and more may fall under the umbrella of ritual. For me, art making is my most cherished ritual practice, and ritual making is a large and integral part of my art practice. When I step into a creative mindset, I'm opening myself to the possibilities of a world reimagined through my pursuits. Making art is a recognition of the transformative nature of ritual. When I create new pieces in the realms of dance, film, literature, music, visual art, and community art, I am both strengthening and affirming my ability to reshape the systems that seek to rob me of my joy, undermine my innate knowing, compromise my physical well-being, and destroy my culture. The world is a tumultuous place. Every generation faces profound challenges to survival on and with the planet and to human rights. It is important to name the ways we struggle to be in symbiotic relationship with all that is, as a way forward in approximating a world attuned to the requisites for tangible and enduring social justice. Though we may never get it entirely perfect, our ritual efforts are an important part of the journey to get there. Particular to the time of this writing, the state-sanctioned murder of Black people, punctuated by the deaths of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Elijah McClain, and George Floyd, must be named. I've included a longer list of Black people killed by police and white vigilantism in the final section of this book. You may choose to say their names out loud as a ritual practice, as an affirmation that Black lives matter, and as part of a larger practice of understanding the complexities of anti-Black racism. The criminalization and inhumane treatment of men, women, and children at our southern border, punctuated by the systemic separation of families and the unsanitary conditions in which people are being held, must be named. In the final section of this text, I've included a poem meant to illuminate the differences between the terms expatriate, immigrant, migrant, refugee, and asylum seeker. Hold on just a second. There it goes. You may choose to recite this poem out loud as a ritual practice and as part of a larger quest to educate yourself about these terms and their implications. The deterioration of the earth and its inhabitants, punctuated by a perceptible increase in flooding of coastal cities and the sky over California glowing orange as wildfires burn, must be named. In the final section of this book, I've included a call to action, a call to plant a garden. You may choose to plant this garden as a ritual practice and as part of a larger practice of growing in your awareness around climate change. There is so much that needs naming. I could go on. Instead, I've worked to infuse this text with suggestions of ways to practice and instances of naming that which must be named. The naming as an act unto itself is a ritual opening to a world devoid of these challenges. As you journey through the book, you'll notice prayers, incantations, recipes, poems, and practices that are not my own. These pieces come from a variety of cultures and traditions, and they are printed with explicit permission of the people and tribes from which they come. I humbly include them in an effort to recognize and celebrate the ritual landscape that includes many voices and approach to making meaning. Moreover, I include them as a way to uplift the Indigenous, Black, brown, queer, and disabled voices so often overlooked or skewed in mainstream depictions of ritual practice and historically left out of scholarly discourse and formal gatherings, save their perceived exoticism serves to bolster a dominant narrative. In descriptions of my own practice, I name where a practice or concept comes from. If I've learned it from somewhere else, I also pay homage to those who have taught me about ritual through their own practices or by inviting me to practice with them. Many of the practices I describe, though, are born of necessity, intuition, and my own creative impulses. As you grow in your own ritual practice, you may also come to find that it is comprised of a mixture of customs inherited, customs found, and customs cultivated through your own experiences and wisdom. It is important to express that this text is in and of itself a ritual. Each chapter has been drafted in conjunction with the ritual I am practicing in physical space. The book as a whole has been written within a set of agreements in mind, that I adhere to no writing schedule but the one set forth by the work itself, that I commit to a daily ritual practice, which may be fluid as to form and function, for the entirety of the process of the writing of the book, that I remain aware of my breath as I write, and that I honor each practice or collection of words given to me for this text by physically practicing or reciting out loud those gifts as I've been granted permission to. No matter what you consider your home tradition to be, ritual is a human habit that tethers us to our purpose and connects the tangible and intangible. Ritual is an inexorable part of our movement work, necessary for the cultivation of awareness and empathy, for the remembrance of our familial ancestors and our movement ancestors, for grieving losses that may include life, dignity, and freedoms, to prepare for the struggles we must continue to confront, to celebrate triumph, and to honor our imperfect humanity. When we get quiet and tune into the signals of our body, mind, and spirit, we can recognize the call to ritual, and we can intuit how best to answer that call. It is this skill of listening and moving into practice with deep awareness, conviction, passion, and trust in the ritual process that we begin to revel in the deep magic within ourselves and the world. So that is the introduction to that text in process. I'm really excited about it, and it feels like this project is bringing together some really what word do I want to use? Some important parts of my practice and of my experiences out in the world, but also all the wisdom that I've come into contact with throughout my life on the planet, and being able to find space to honor that and to send those things out into the world in a productive way, hopefully in a positive way. So I appreciate you listening. I apologize for the phone ringing. I'm at my parents' house right now, and they're popular people. So before we get started with the ritual, we need to do a little preparation. We need to get into a little bit of question